Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope we're all doing really well and we're feeling ready to move our bodies. Let's find ourselves on our mat, and I want us to start in a 4-point kneeling position. So it's got to be really exact. I see a lot of time with the bodies that I work with, we're always kind of shifting our body weight, never really forwards, it's always back, and our shoulders are never properly aligned on top of the wrist. So I really need us now to place those hands directly underneath your shoulders. If you're not sure if you're in the proper position, a mirror is great. If you don't have access to a mirror, you're going to look at your joints now, look at where your shoulders are, and just make sure to you that they look like they're on top of the wrist. Now from here, make sure your knees are directly underneath your hips. You're going to just line up that knee under the hip joint. My mat is really great because I've got like grooves in the mat, and I can put a link to the mat that I've got. And it allows you to stay in that 90-degree flexion, because that's what you're doing right now. You're in 90-degree shoulder flexion and 90-degree hip flexion. From here, I need us to really root up and away from the mat. We're going to start with some shoulder mobility. So right now, your eye gaze is to the top of the mat. You turn to look at me when you need to, but then your head is looking to the top of the mat. I need us to now keep the knees directly under the hips on top of the knees. So little shake, little wiggle of pelvis. And then shoulders are directly on top of your wrists the entire time. Okay, I need us now to almost drop the chest in between the biceps and squeeze and draw the shoulder blades together. Now, at the same time, we need to activate the rib cage just a little bit to support the thoracic spine not going into extension. So instead of going like that through the spine, try to zip up your rib cage so that the ribs are vertically on top of the pelvis here. Okay, so that they don't like pop out to arch the back. So then once we have got that and we're squeezing the shoulder blades and we're really drawing the rib cage up, so we've lifted the breastbone. So you can always take your finger here and just draw the breastbone up now. So your lower back hasn't moved, you've activated here. Then from here, I need us to push the mat away from us. And now our shoulder blades, our shoulders are actually rounding in this position, but we're just mobilizing at the moment, and the shoulder blades have moved apart. Okay, so now zip your pubic bone to your belly button. Draw that breastbone up. Take an inhale, breathe in. As you exhale, we're going to draw the shoulder blades together, but not pop the ribs out of the belly. And then we're going to slide up into the shoulder blades and take our inhale. Look ahead, look to the top of the mat. So we're going to take that drop again into the shoulders, pushing up and away. Another great thing, guys, if you have yoga blocks at home and you're struggling with the activation of the shoulder blades, pop your yoga blocks underneath your hands, and you're going to press away from the yoga blocks and then almost just squeeze the shoulder blades together again, keeping the ribs engaged still, and then pushing back up. So now I need you to do this shoulder blade movement, mobilizing whilst focusing on your rib cage connection. We're going to go for 3 more. Still looking ahead. 2 more. We're still focusing on the pubic bone to belly button connection. So we've got that engagement. And then we're going to do 1 more. And then from here, everyone, we're going to hold. Now from here, look forward and extend your spine into cat-cow stretch. And now we stabilize through the shoulders. Then as we take that exhale, we are physically lifting the front of the ribs into the back of the ribs, dropping the head in between the biceps all the way. So I need you to look to your belly button or your pubic bone. And then I need you to take an inhale and lengthen the spine back into your extension. And then we go again. So we take our inhale, exhale, rounding the spine, and then taking our inhale to breathe and lengthen those abdominals. But we're still stabilizing through the shoulders here. So this is really working on shoulder stability. And then we're taking that exhale, coming into that flexion, allowing the head to drop, allowing there to be that lumbar spinal flexion, and then inhale as we find our extension again. So you're always keeping a lifted sensation through the shoulders, and the shoulders are still on top of those wrists. I've just shifted slightly. And exhale. Great. And then can we do one more? Taking an inhale to breathe in. And then take your exhale. Breathe out. Open those knees nice and wide and sit your hips back. Just take a quick break out of that. Take an inhale to breathe in, out through the rib cage. So really expanding through the back of the body, and then take an exhale. Great work, guys. Good. Now from here, I just want us to stabilize again. Bring your hands back under your shoulders, move your knees back underneath your hips again, or just a little bit further forwards. So make sure you're exact here. Make sure you're very exact in the body by looking at your joints, looking back, and just measuring them. Okay, now from here, stay lifted through those shoulders. We're going to tuck those toes under for a moment. We're going to take an inhale, and then slowly from here, take your exhale and draw the ribs up again into the back of your spine. So you've just activated through those abdominals again. So this is all about your centering now and your core control, working with some shoulder stability. Now from here, imagine your hands are on yoga blocks if they're not, and you're pushing up and away from the yoga blocks. Keep those shoulders directly on top of your hands. You're working through the back of the arm here as well now, taking the contraction through the upper arm as well. So now also you're thinking about that breastbone being vertically aligned to that pubic bone and that belly button. So everything's stacking and aligning. We take our inhale, the spine is nice and stable. Exhale, hover the knees off the mat and then lower back down. Take an inhale to breathe in. Exhale. And then lower back down. Keep really pulling in here and activating that lower belly. Keep your shoulders on top of your wrists. Keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. Look forwards. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale, lower. 4 more. So the shoulders stay lifted the whole time. I physically want you to push the mat away from you and resist the mat or gravity when your knees and your lower body lowers back down, but then don't move the upper body. And then we do one more, and then we're gonna hold, and then we're gonna press back to downward dog. Now allow those legs to just pedal out for a second, allow your knees to bend, allow your shoulders to melt away from your ears. One leg extends, one knee bends. Now we're gonna extend both legs, and we're gonna really push the pelvis back and extend our thoracic spine. Drop your shoulders away from your ears and really lengthen out through the backs of your legs. Just slide the hands forward slightly down the mat so they're away from your shoulders a little bit more. And I would just make sure that they're quite far forwards now so that you can bring the upper body forwards into a little plank. We're going to take an inhale to breathe in. And as we exhale, we're drawing the ribs in towards the midline of the belly. And then we're going to lower the heels back down. So we inhale, lower the feet down, keep the knees extended, push your hips back. That's it. Really ankle back there. Exhale. So the exhalation, the ribs have closed into the midline and we're really hugging in those abdominals. And then we push and ankle back again. Let's do 2 more. Lowering back down. So this is an articulation of your foot, your ankle. Last one, hold. Now we need to bring the shoulders forwards on top of the wrists. At the same time, we're tucking our pelvis under. We're zipping that pubic bone up to the belly button, contracting the glutes, and then lowering. And now we're in a really nice, strong position in our plank. We're going to hold here. We're going to take an inhale, and I want your thighs to feel like they're switching on now. Now from here, all we're going to do is push the mat away from us again, stabilize through the shoulders. We're going to bend those knees and tap the knees down. But your abdominals are still pulling in. Then extend the knees and contract your glutes, and then bend all the way back down. So the upper body stays lifted here. Push the mat away from you. Imagine you've got yoga blocks, and your hands contract, and then come back down. So I really need you to feel now that you've got a wooden pole resting on the back of your spine, and you've got to stay very aligned and still through the back of your body and keep that real tucking in of your pelvis as you contract the glutes and as you tighten into your lower abdominals, as you slide the ribs together in the belly, as you really push the mat away, eyes are forwards, head is in line with your spine. We go for 4 more. We're mobilizing the knees here into some flexion as we stabilize the shoulders, working around there. through the shoulders, strengthening those muscles. 2 more. And last one, everyone, you're going to hold. And then from here, we're going to push back to that downward dog. Walk your heels back onto the mat. Well done. Take one knee into a bend, opposite knee is an extension, and then just balance it out to the other side. Let's do 2 more. Really angle those hips back and away. And let's do 1 more. And then both heels try to lower down. Chest lowers between your biceps in your upper arms. And then we lift the heels, bend the knees, and come down. Well done, guys. Shake those wrists out for a little second and a little release there. Okay, from here, we're going to come into a kneeling position. You could do this in standing. If this feels uncomfortable on your hips or your knees, come up onto your feet into standing instead. And then from here, I'm adding in 1 kg hand weights. Now you could also do this, or you do this first without the hand weights. I would almost recommend doing it without the hand weights. I'm going to demo it with the weights, but you do it without the weights just to start with, because you are going to feel this no matter what. Okay, so before you pick up your weights, if you are using them, just get your alignment correct. So hands to your hip bones. There is going to be a little bit of a tuck through the pelvis here. So you have flexed into your lower back. So your lower back is almost pulled under a little bit, under. And then from here, as soon as you've done that, what's happened in the front of the body is, again, you have zipped up that pubic bone. All of these muscles, your pelvic floor muscles in the pelvis, are just starting to come up now in to activate your deeper transverse abdominal muscle, which is sitting kind of like up and through the rib cage. Now from here, we're going to place a finger into the breastbone and just kind of like pull in and brace into that upper part of the body. And then the ribs are sliding down to the hips. Now from here, it's quite easy when you've adjusted the rib cage that the shoulders might not be open and kind of like pulling back. So what we want to do there is just find awareness of the shoulders, resit them back down. So we're not elevating up. And I know that I've exaggerated that there, but you don't want to feel like you're even there. So that shoulder is higher than that one right now. So we're just restacking. Okay, everyone. Now, if you've got your weights, you hold your weights. If you've not got weights, you're not doing it with weights. We're going to take our arms in the plant out to either side and lengthen through the arms here. Okay, remember you're working with gravity underneath you. So from here, breastbone pulls in, the rib cage pulls in, your pubic bone zips up to your belly button, and there's a little bit of a tuck through your pelvis, which means your lower back is in a little bit of flexion right now. Now from here, working against gravity, we're going to resist the arms lowering down. And as soon as you've done that, you've started to activate and stabilize around the shoulder joint, rather than just kind of like aimlessly working through the arm. We're working with a little bit more intention. We go up again. Let's take an inhale now. Find awareness that your arms and your shoulders are trying to stay balanced. Exhale to resist down. Find awareness of your shoulder blades. We go up again. So you're going to take an inhale. Activating that pelvic floor and the rib cage together as you exhale. Inhale. Take your exhale and really contract it in. Let's do 2 more just like that. Taking that inhale, exhale, and then let's do 1 more, taking that inhale, and then taking that exhale. Great work, guys. Okay, already I'm feeling it with those weights. So now you're coming up. We're going to turn the palms forwards. We're going to bring those arms just to shoulder distance apart, and then we're going to draw the arms open through the shoulder blades, now connecting towards one another. And now I need you to separate the shoulder blades apart. Okay, so let's just try and find back of the body here for a second. So we're going out and we're slowly starting to activate that. And then we're going to resist and really pull away. And then again, we're going to take that activation, opening out, and then coming back in. Keeping that going through the upper body now. And we're opening up again. Good. And then we are closing. Now we're going to bend those elbows in from the shoulder blades. So roll those shoulders back again, pull the breastbone back in, pull the rib cage back in. Keep your ribs at the front of the body. connected to the back of the rib cage at the back of the body. So they're working together now. And then we're going to push, almost like a little punch, and then come back in. From side profile, you've gone out, rib cage is engaged, abdominals are engaged, and then we're contracting and pulling back in. 5 more like this. Exhaling to draw in, inhale to go out, exhale to pull through those shoulder blades, and go back out again. Let's do a few more. Coming out and in. Let's do 2 more. Good, working out and in. And then let's do 1 more. And then let's turn the palms of the hands down. Let's lower those arms just down towards the mat there, and then resist and bring those arms back up. So I need your wrists now to feel like they're lengthening just in line of the shoulders. So you're working the anterior deltoid here. You're working the front of the shoulder joint. Now we lift. We just open very slightly out to the sides, and then we come down and we resist. So now we're going into the lateral shoulder joint, and then we are resisting. So this is quick arms today, shoulders. We're going to do 3 more. Really activating through those abdominals for another 2, lengthening through that crown of the head. And then let's do 1 more. And then let's bring those arms up, turn the palms of the hands forwards, open out again as we did earlier to the sides. Feel your shoulder blades retracting towards each other. Now resist and bring those arms forward. And again, so we're going to take that opening out. Remember, you could be standing here so that your knees are in extension. You've still got a slight tuck of your pelvis. Your ribs are drawing in, and you feel your arms moving from the shoulder blades, resting on flush on the rib cage. Let's come all the way back in. Let's bend the elbows in. I'm going very slow today. Now we're going to extend out to the sides, but the wrist now isn't directly in line with the shoulder like this. So you've actually gone out at an angle. And again, so we're going to open out, and then I need us to squeeze in. And again, so we're going to take that inhale, take your exhale as you come all the way in. Let's go for another 4. Let's go for another 3. Let's go for another 2. And let's go for another 1. Now from here, everyone, I need us to turn the palms of the hands up to the ceiling. Bring your hands here. We're going to go into a rotator cuff movement. So we're going to keep those arms and elbows stuck to the body. And then we're going to resist and close in. Now the resistance is really now happening through this back of the body. We're working into that lat here. And what we're really wanting to do now is, just try and really squeeze those arms in. So we're taking that opening, taking that closing. Shoulder blades are going to draw together at this point. So your collarbone is very wide. The chest wall has lengthened and opened. And then we hug back in. Let's go for another 5. Trying to open out at that angle for another 4. Still finding that connection for another 3. Well done, guys. Another 2. And then last 1. We come all the way out. We're going to a little bicep curl. And then we're going to come up onto our knees and extend. I'm just going to have to move back a little bit. So now what you're going to do is you're going to keep that breastbone pulled in. We're going to come down, sitting again as we bicep curl. And then we're going to tuck that pelvis under, squeeze the glutes as we extend. So my glutes are on fire right now, squeezing. And then we're coming back in again. You just want to come off this mat for a second so I've got level surface. So we're going to extend as we come up. Let's go for another 5. Another 4, another 3, really resisting. I'm really pulling in as I come up. I'm working really hard. 2 more. And let's do 1 more. You're working your quads here and your thighs as you come up. Now from here, I'm going to go side profile on, turn the palms of the hands down. Okay, we're going to pull those ribs in again. So we're stacking on top of the hips. Shoulders are rolling back, the palms of the hands are facing down. We're sticking that pelvis back behind us as if we're squatting, all the way behind the knees. We look forwards, the wrists are in line with the shoulders. Your arms are very strong here. Now resist and squeeze those arms into the sides of your thighs. You've squeezed the glutes, you've tucked your pelvis, you're in full hip extension. You can see the hip is vertically aligned on top of that knee. And again, the ribs stay in. You don't arch your lower back. You don't feel the back of the body. You don't feel the back muscles. You flex from your hip joints. So you're flexing and pushing those hips back. You're pulling those ribs in. You're lengthening those arms. And then from here, resisting, looking forwards. Let's go for 5 more here. Sitting all the way back. Exhale. Let's go for another 4. Sitting all the way back. Just reminding ourselves that we've got these muscles here for a reason. Let's go for another 3. Really contracting. Let's go for another 2. Breastbone is always zipping down towards that belly button and towards that pubic bone. And let's go for 1 more and let's hold. Let's bend our elbows in. Let's sit those hips back again. Hug your arms in nice and tight. Roll your shoulders out to the sides. Okay, from here, guys, I have to turn around for more room. What we now do is we're still flexing at the hip joint now. We're pushing the pelvis back behind us. The quads are contracting. The pubic bone zipping up to the belly button. Zip up a pair of jeans. Pull in. Pull the rib cage in. We're going to open out so that the wrists are in front. Wrist is in front of the elbow. So you're bent at an angle. And then I need us to squeeze and hug in. We're going to go out again. I'm going to change up the movement now, and we're going to come up into extension again as we bring the arms in. We're going to sit those hips back, pull the rib cage into the back of your rib cage, and then squeeze your glutes as you squeeze the elbows to the sides of your ribs. Eyes are looking forwards, your shoulder blades squeeze together at this point. Exhale. We go for 5 more, and then exhale to come back up. 4 more, and then exhale. Going for another 3, and then tucking that pelvis, hip extends. Another 2. Let's go for another 1. We're going to come all the way down, everyone. Sit all the way back down, and now just the arms going out and in. Keeping it going. Hugging in, resisting. So the resistance is really here through the arm into the waistline. Sit your hips a little bit further back. Pull those ribs in. You don't feel any part of the muscles in the back taking over. Last 2. Last 1. Hold those arms up. Small little pulses. Roll the shoulders away from your ears. You're really pulsing up through the back of the arm, the shoulder, and the elbow pushing up. Last 3, 2, and 1, and come all the way back up. I'm going to do 1 more round of the extension with you guys of the hips. So I really need us to be pulling all of these muscles up and holding on. So your lower back is in a good position, and the glutes can start to contract, and the quads can also be working. Okay, so we start again, guys. We angle those hips back, we open through those shoulders, and then we resist and pull in. And then we open up again. And again, hips go back. Now contract and come back up. And again, we're here for another 5. We're nearly finished. Another 4. We've really worked through our shoulder awareness today. 3 more. Keep those abdominals and the ribs drawn in. 2 more. And 1 more. And all the way back up. To finish, guys, stay kneeling. Okay, you're going to bring your elbows. I'm just going to go down a little bit. Stay up on your knees, stay in your hip extension. We're going to open the arms. So I'm just going to kneel here so you can see me, but you guys stay here. And then you're going to close. Otherwise, drop to your knees like me, drop to your heels, sorry, and down if you need to. So we're going to open. Again, you might need to drop your weights here. Now close and resist. Open. Let's go for another 6. Work through the shoulders. So feeling your shoulder blades contract, then resist and close. 5 more. Just going to show you side profile. You're in this position of the hips and the alignment. Squeeze your glutes and then open. Let's go for another 4. Open. Another 3. Open. Stronger back muscles. 2 more. Your elbows are in line with your shoulder at the front. Last 1, everyone. You're going to squeeze your wrists together, or your weights if you've got the weights, and do little pulses here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze, open, squeeze, come in. 5, 4, through the shoulder blades. 3, 2, One. Now come all the way out with those arms, extend and lower those arms. It's not meant to be easy. Otherwise, we'd always all try to be doing it, but that's the goal. We're trying to do it more in the body. Roll your shoulders back, guys. Let's take a moment now to come into, you can come into a wide hip position here. If you've got a bolster or a yoga block, maybe nearby, you could be sitting on that, but otherwise don't be worrying about that. You come into cross-legged instead. This is just nice for a quick hip release and to open up into the hips. We're going to roll those shoulders back. I need us to re-vertically align and center everything up again. Let's take one arm across the body, other arm towards the tricep, and let's take a little release there. Because your triceps have been working, believe it or not, you probably do believe it. And you can take a little rotation, and then we're going to switch. So it's all about activation, it's all about mind-body awareness, it's all about understanding what's happening in the body. And then from here, let's roll the shoulders back again. Let's nod the chin down. Let's take a breath in. Remember, when you inhale, I need the ribs to be opening from the front to the side of the rib cage, all the way around to the back of the rib cage. And then you can feel that inhale is in the neck now. And then you're going to exhale and lift your chin up. Now you're going to look up towards the ceiling into your cervical spine extension, and you're going to push your elbows back and pull the ribs in, and you've got a little bit of a tuck through the pelvis, because most likely when I need you to engage the rib cage, and you can bring your head down now as well, when you need to bring the rib cage in, it's most likely that your lower back is in some sort of slight extension, most likely. Maybe not, it's different for everyone's posture, but that's probably maybe what's going on. And then let's just do a head circle to release out any tension anywhere in the body. And then from here, just tilt your head to one side. You could take your opposite hand to the opposite ear. So if your right ear is reaching to the right shoulder, your right hand has taken over. You could also take your left arm behind you here and try to open, roll that left shoulder back. And I'm feeling a lot of tension there. Remember, feeling tension is sometimes a good thing, because it's showing you that you're working your muscles. Then we need to release and lengthen. And then off to the other side. And then same thing, that arm can come back behind the head, and it just creates a deeper lengthening for the muscles down to the shoulder joint, down through the neck flexors. There's a lot happening here in the neck. Loads of muscles. Little muscles as well that help us to move our head, and then head back to center. Well done, guys. Take your hands into a prayer position, elbows nice and wide, roll your shoulders down, close your eyelids, take a moment to inhale and breathe into your body, into your beautiful body, your amazing body, and then exhale, release the shoulders, release the ribs. Two more. Inhale, elbows stay nice and wide. Breathe into the belly. Notice your lower back is probably arching there. So again, notice, observe yourself. And then exhale, zip that pubic bone up to the belly button. Let's do one last one. Inhale, breathe in again. Well done, guys. Your back is probably extending as you inhale, because that's normal. The spine is doing that. And then exhale. Take your hands down, shoulders roll back, head looks side to side. And center, and you guys have done something amazing for your body. You've mobilized your shoulders, you've started to understand how to stabilize a little bit more, you've mobilized your spine, you've stabilized your spine, you've worked a little bit of your glutes, your hips, and your quads, and of course your abdominals with your arms. So that's all you need sometimes. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in our next class. Keep moving, keep showing up for you, keep doing the work for you. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.